everybody, welcome back to my channel. I've been looking forward to doing this video for a long time and the day is finally here. So you may remember I had my thyroid removed in December of 2017. I had papillary thyroid carcinoma, and then I saw the surgeon who did my surgery pretty regularly after my surgery, and because my voice wasn't getting better, he said that if I wasn't any better by April or May of this year, that he would send me to a voice specialist. So I went, and I saw a otolaryngologist. And so what he did was, the assistant sprayed some numbing stuff in my right nostril, and it drips down your throat and numbs your esophagus, the base of your tongue, that sort of thing. They're basically trying to numb your gag reflex, and so they don't want you to feel what they're gonna do. So after the numbing stuff took effect, the doctor came in and he takes a little scope, kind of like what they would do for maybe like what they would do for a stomach endoscopy or things like that, and they stick it through your nose. They really go through your nose, and so you have to lean out like this, and then they stick it in your nose, and then while you have your neck leaned out, you take it's like a stethoscope, and you hold it on your neck, and he feeds it down your nose, and then he wanted to watch my vocal cords. So once he got it in place, it didn't take long. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 seconds while it was moving, which was kind of like, oh, I need to cough, I'm going to choke, that sort of feeling. And then once it was in place, he wanted me to make certain sounds. The first thing that he wanted me to do when he got the scope in place was to do a pitch glide. Then he asked me if I would hum. Then he wanted me to do a hum and pitch glide with it. Oh, sorry. And then he wanted me to do E, sniff, E, sniff, E, sniff. Oh, sorry. E, 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 E. And then he wanted me to sing a phrase. Oh, say, can you see? Okay, it's not going to happen. Once I did all that, he was able to determine that my vocal cords were perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with them. So then the next step was for me to see a speech pathologist, and the speech pathologist was going to determine if it was something else. So when I walked into her office, I just got really excited because I saw a keyboard, and I knew that I was going to be singing for her and trying to show her what I was having trouble with. And so she hooked me up to a computer. I just put on a headset with a microphone, not really anything very fancy. And she handed me a piece of paper, and it had a phrase on it. I read the phrase, and then at the end, I would hold out E, A, O, and then she played it back for me so I could see what I sounded like. And we talked about it for, a few seconds, and then I would go to the next thing. So she had me do that a couple of times. When I was done with that, she wanted me to go, ooh, and then I went, ooh, a couple of times, back and forth. And she recorded me, and then we listened to them back again. Then after that, she took me into another office where she had electric piano, which was where she was trying to do another test, but the test wouldn't start up. So instead of doing that test, we moved over to the piano, and she just did some scales with me. She started low and see how high I could get. And when I got to F sharp, which is 5 notes above middle C, that's when I started to have trouble. And that's what I was trying to, explain, was that I do fine in my lower register, but once I get up to a certain note, I have trouble hitting it, and it kind of sounds like I'm straining a little bit. Sometimes the sound doesn't even come out. And so after she did some scales up and down, so then she wanted me to do one of the other things that she wanted me to do was lip trills. Just a few of those. And then once I had done all of that, she determined that my vocal cords and my vocal nerves were fine. That the problem was coming from this muscle right in here. And so the reason that I'm having trouble with my muscle and not my vocal cords or my vocal nerves is because when they take out your thyroid, it just, once the thyroid is out and the doctors close you all up, everything that was in your neck has to find a new spot. And so it just kind of, things just got moved around. I mean, everything. The doctor in my surgery he checked me from here down to here. He was digging all around in there. So when you have your thyroid taken out, everything that was left in there, it's kind of just has to find a new home in your neck. Everything that was laying on top of my thyroid or shoved to the side eventually fell back into where it should have been. And so things were just a little irritated, and it just takes a lot of time for things like that to heal. So that's why I've had so much trouble with my singing voice. And she did say that she believes that they will be able to help me. So from now on, I'm not going to see the speech pathologist, since the problem is not in my speaking voice. The problem is in my singing voice. So I will be seeing a singing therapist. And what that means is that, you know, when you have knee surgery or hip surgery or hand surgery, most of the time you're going to go to physical therapy to retrain the muscles, getting them to be in use again after not being used for so long. And that's what I'm doing with my voice. My singing voice, I have not been using for a long time. And so it just needs to be like, you know, slowly woken up. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to work with me over a period of 4 to 6 weeks. And hopefully I will be able to be back to where I was. But they do feel like that they are going to be able to help me. And that was my biggest fear, was that I was going to have lifelong problems because of this surgery. Although it needed to be done, I don't want to lose my singing voice, because I have been singing my whole life. And if you are not a singer and you don't sing, then you don't understand what I have been going through this past 18 months. It's been really hard for me. So I'm finally getting to the point to where I see that there's going to be some big changes, and I am very hopeful for what is to come. So my first appointment to see the singing therapist is August the 7th, and appointments usually last about 45 minutes. And then from there, we will see how often I'll need to come, once a week, twice a month, 4 times a month. We'll just see how things go. And I will be updating you after my first visit with the singing therapist. That's kind of hard to say. I keep wanting to say speech therapist, but it's singing therapist. So I will update after that appointment. I'm super excited. I cannot wait to be able to sing again. I'm very excited. So please come back for updates. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again.